That Show, starring Joan Rivers. And ladies and gentlemen, here's Joan.
Now. You were tip-top in the last show. Today, we're going to discuss Do You Need a Maid? And we have with us Jacques Taylor, who runs a maid service, so he should know, and Nancy Walker, who's a woman who needs a maid. And that's the most thing I've done in 2 years. Isn't it cute they gave this to me? But I had many jobs when I was getting started in the business. No, I wouldn't do that to your hair. No, oh, it's clean. You can have this. Oh, that's, do it, though. No, your hair looks cute. No, but I had many, when I was getting started in the business for 7 years, I was always like a typist. I was an office temporary. I was never a maid. But my cousin Hubie, he was working as a houseboy for a nice Filipino family. So I'm very aware of, brilliant switch, I'm very aware of, like maids and maid problems. And finally, I decided, when I had my own show, and I have like the baby now, I decided to hire a maid. And Edgar said, get a French maid, but I figured, the car fare will break me, forget it, back and forth every night. So I finally got me a maid, because I'm not too clean. I'll tell you right now, I'm the kind that sweeps the dust under the rug, that kind? To get to my kitchen, you have to walk uphill. I mean, it's like I got a maid, yes. I got a maid who was clean. I mean, this dummy, she used to wash the goldfish. I mean, it goes a little far. Fast, every morning she'd make the bed, I'd still be in it. She didn't care, make the bed. And then I started wondering, where is she from? Because she used to wear, like horizontal stripes on her uniform. And little things made me suspicious, like she used to slip the meals under the door. Twice a week she tried to escape in the laundry truck. Every time I opened the refrigerator and the light went on, she began to confess. So finally, you just got it? I figured I want to know where she's from, so I figured I'll leave her a note where she'll see it in the dust on the liquor cabinet. So I wrote her a note and I said, I don't care where you've been or what you've done, 782-346. But when I come back, I want this place cleaned up. And when I came back, was my place cleaned up? She had left with the jewelry, the silverware. Because we're an affluent society now, suddenly the big problem among all of us is, how does one find a good maid? Thank goodness you can talk about it. But to find out, we have with us Jacques Taylor, who is the owner of a successful, what do you want to call it?
A maid service.
A maid service, we'll call it that. And it's nice to have you on the show. And to discuss the problem, we have the next lady. You can, if you start mentioning everything she's been in, starting with Best Foot Forward, Pal Joey, Girl Crazy, Look Mom, Dancing, and now a serious actress, including T.S. Eliot's The Cocktail Party. She's a clown in the great tradition, Miss Nancy Walker. All right, you're a working mother.
Yes.
Do you have a maid?
Yes, I do. A marvelous lady. I've been very lucky. This is not good for your business at all, but in 15 years I've had just 2 ladies.
Sometimes it's good for my business if some people have maids and don't call us.
Why is
Present
that?
company accepted. Well, it's such a difficult thing to match the maid with the madam.
Do you really try?
I beg your pardon.
By matching, I mean that you are, it's such a delicate relationship, this business of having a maid work for you in your house. There's a certain stigma to domestic work, for example. And the employer is not always aware of this, of the feelings of the person that she's got working for her. And there's a whole bit of protocol that should be observed when you employ the maid while she's working with you.
What do you mean by protocol, Mr. Taylor?
I mean, you have to develop a behavior pattern.
Oh.
I'm sorry to tell you these things, but this is so.
What do you mean by a behavior pattern? And then
You have to know how to behave in the presence of the maid in order to indicate a certain firmness, that there is an
I'm
important...
dead. Already I'm dead, right?
Well, you are treating this person as a member of your family?
How do you treat your maid?
I find it very necessary to have a relationship with a friend. And I've never suffered for it, I must say. I've had marvelous people. And I think they respect me, and I certainly respect them as workers in our own fields. And I've never had anything but a marvelously run house, and she doesn't tell me jokes. I don't tell her how to clean.
Well, this is exactly what I mean. There should be a very firm feeling of respect, so that she respects your privacy and you respect her
privacy. Yes. Now, do you live in an apartment or a house?
8-room apartment.
And does the maid sleep in?
Yes.
Because you have one child or
one daughter.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you had to have a sleep in because you would go to the theater.
Well, that was much. Yes, when my daughter was much younger. I'm not sure we need it now.
Because
I needed it. I couldn't have worked without it.
We have a 5-room apartment, and because I wasn't pregnant when we took it, and suddenly the dining room became Melissa's bedroom, and we have somebody sleeping in a 5-room apartment. It's very rough to keep your privacy. It's very hard. You go in for the cup of coffee with the curlers in the morning, you know, or our scale is in the foyer, and I like to go as, you know, the good Lord made me to see what I weigh, and, you know, it's very embarrassing. She's dusty in the morning. Good morning, good morning. You know. So it's very hard to keep your privacy and your distance.
Well, it makes for a better relationship. But I do think that you must never try to let your maid become a part of your family, or try to embrace her, in figuratively speaking, so that you overwhelm her with your own goodness. This immediately makes you suspect.
I don't know, is it goodness or need? Because, you know, the first lady that ever worked for us started by taking care of my daughter. And when my daughter got to be 11 years old, I felt it was a little silly for her to have someone walking around the street with her, you know, let her have some independence. But do you know, I had to take to my bed, put a drink beside me, and gather my forces. I would have done anything but fire that lady. And I couldn't... she came in and I said, I think it's time that we break relationships, you know. And she said, oh, well, you're a year late. And I said, what does that mean? She said, well, your daughter didn't need me when she was 10, but you did. So I stayed 1 year for you. It was really what I'm getting at. It was my need to have this woman around, and also the discomfort of firing someone very dear to me.
To fire someone. We had a girl that had started with me before I was married, when I was, you know, single. And she'd work part-time. Then as I got married, she worked full-time. Then the baby came. And the more responsibility I gave her, the less she wanted. And finally, after 3.5 years, Edgar said to me, that's it, you have to let her go. I mean, she's just like, you know, nothing. You'd come home and there'd be no dinner, and nothing. And I would leave her notes like, please order this, please order that. Nothing be ordered, and the baby wouldn't have milk, and, you know, just... And I just, thank goodness she got married and gave me notice. I was so happy. I would have bought the guy for her, you know. Because I didn't know. How do you tell somebody? How do you fire someone? It's very hard.
You tell your husband to do it.
What if he beat you to the punch, though?
About firing the girl? Oh, well, he doesn't, because we've had calls many times, and the lady would say, well, I'll call you back. I have to speak it over with my husband. And my reply to that is, don't kid me. He's gonna tell you, do what you want. And they always do. So,
my husband doesn't do that.
But Nancy.
No, truly.
No, my husband is, because Edgar's very particular, too. I must say this, Edgar likes things, and Edgar was a bachelor till he was 40. He had a widow mother, and he had a nurse/maid who had taken care of him since he was a baby. Spoiled. You can imagine, right? 2 women doting over him. He doesn't even close a cabinet in the kitchen to this day. And suddenly, he wants things in the right place. He's just used... At 40, you're not going to change a man. So go ahead, that's just an aside. So I know what you're going through. You know, he's...
Well, what usually happens is the wife will say, she didn't do this today. And the husband says, mm-hmm. And then the next evening, you know what she didn't do today? She didn't do this, and she didn't do that, and when I came home, all the books in the bookcases were all upside down. And the husband says, the milk is beginning to curdle. And when the milk begins to curdle, nothing will ever sweeten it up. And by the end of the week, the wife says to the husband, get rid of it. Me? Get rid of it. And then the husband says to the maid, there's always a good deal of pause before he breaks this news, and he pontificates and gets a little pompous. And he says, we've decided that we're not going to use your services, or we have decided to select you for separation.
My father's a doctor, once fired a nurse, and he wrote her a letter, and he said there are going to be some changes made in the office.
You're one of them.
Yes. Go ahead. And so the husband, now when you do fire a maid, do you give her 2 weeks' notice?
It depends on how much you like her. It depends on how much how long she has been with you. If she's only been with you a short period of time, you don't give her any notice.
Truly? I thought that
I think
was...
I couldn't do that. I'd rather, you know...
Well, if she's been with you, let's say 6 months or 8 months,
Yeah.
you give her a week's pay. I'm talking about the live-in help
Yes.
now. There's a differerancial, you know. There's the person who comes in for a few hours each day to clean.
That's what you work with,
That's
Mr.
our
Taylor.
baby.
Which I want to get into that, about how they're different, they're bonded. We'll be right back after the commercial, so stick around. We're back talking with Nancy Walker and Jacques Taylor. And before we get into your kind of maids that you send out, which are daily, tell me when you go to hire a maid, now you're looking, you just told me, Nancy, for a new maid.
For next summer, yeah.
For next summer. What do you say in an interview? It's very embarrassing. What do you say? I always say, I want a clean house. Now, that's dumb, because nobody's going to say to you, well, I'm not going to give it to you.
Well, if you recall, I mentioned before the need for creating an aura of respect. I think that perhaps when you do interview this person, the best place to do it would be not in the living room, but rather in the kitchen. I say that because if you handle this interview in the living room, this person whom you're about to employ might expect that you are regarding her as a guest rather than an employee. So that interview should take place in the kitchen. And you should not
Should the kitchen be dirty or clean?
Don't you know that if you're employing a maid, you must clean the house first?
Ah, yes.
If you're going to serve her a coffee or something after the interview to make her comfortable, you might have had the coffee on the stove prior to her arrival, and then you set the stuff out on the table, the cups and the saucers and the coffee pot, and you say, "Would you like some coffee?" And you sit there and wait for her to pour. This lets her know exactly what the situation is.
I think I'm the luckiest woman in the world. You know, when my dear Audrina came to be with us, granted, it was in the living room that we were talking, because I tend to giggle a lot when I'm interviewing people. I get very nervous and insecure. At any rate, at one point I did say to her, "Would you like some coffee?" And she said, "Yes, that would be very nice." And I started to get up, and she said, "No, I will make it." And I thought, oh, I'm home free. This is a lady. This is someone who knows her work. And then, you know, when she said, "What would I have to do?" I said, "Please, just keep it clean. I don't want to have any, I don't know how to do it. I don't like to do it, and I won't be here to do it. You do it. That's your job." And she has just been marvelous. I'm very fortunate. Mwah! Love you.
This is ideal.
Now,
This is ideal.
Yes.
Just make it clean, and you
Yes.
throw the whole thing to this person. It's unfair.
Why? When they say to me, "Make it funny," nobody sits home and writes my jokes.
Hear,
It's
hear.
thrown to us to make it funny. When you see Nancy on stage, nobody's helped her. She's done her own performance. When I hire someone, I give them a salary, and I say, "You are a housekeeper. Take care of my house." Why should I have to help her? She's coming to me telling me she is a housekeeper.
You have to help her.
I get a little
because
emotional.
You have to help her.
Don't cry, darling.
You have to help her because this person will be subject to your criticism later on. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. Oh, you didn't tell me.
Well,
So
I
she's
wrote a
gonna-
Yes,
book.
but I'm confused now, because why, if one says I am a housekeeper, I'm very naive about this, it's not argumentative. This sets up in my mind the fact that there is a certain amount of work and knowledge about that work. Housekeeper, keep the house. Well, that means a lot of things. So if I say, "Oh, wonderful, you're a housekeeper," why would I then have to go and say, "You didn't do that, that's the house. Clean the house, lady."
Because in 19...
Course,
Right?
lot of money,
Right?
clean the
Isn't she
house.
right? I'm asking the women in the audience. I know we have, when you walk into my foyer, and it's an elegant foyer. But I did it myself. But we have a big silver wine cooler with leaves. Now, I think that if the first thing you see is that wine cooler, I see it when it's turning black. I see it when it's tarnished. Now, why do I have to say, please do it? It's the first thing you see when you walk in. Don't you think that the housekeeper should know, the maid should know if it's black? Obviously, the silver should be done if she's getting paid to take care of my house.
She should know it. Unfortunately, today, she doesn't.
So what do you do with your girls? Now, your girls go in daily to different people. Is that right?
Our girls go in once, twice, 3 times, as many times a week as our client has ordered service or contracted for service. And the same girl goes? The same girl goes each time. She has a regular route to follow. It's like a chambermaid arrangement in a hotel. You have the same number of places to go. So that when the routine is established, the girl can do a much better job knowing, being familiar with each apartment and being also familiar with the kind of people who live there. Now, this is an important thing, the most important thing, the kind of people that she's working for. We have Craig's wives, and we have slobs. It's true.
I bet they all say, give me a slob,
no,
you know?
Sometimes
I'm a sloppy Craig's wife.
Maybe some of my clients will be listening to this.
Now, these are ex-clients we're talking about, so go ahead.
But there are some people who just live in gypsy camps, who haven't been trained by their parents for some reason or other. It takes a maid an hour and a half to 2 hours to pick up the dropped clothing before she can start cleaning. Then the client calls me and says, look, the maid didn't do any cleaning here. The place is filthy. I can write my name in the dust. Well, it's nice to be literate, we tell them.
That's funny. May I ask, what these ladies get an hour? I mean, because I've never worked with someone that way.
Well, the ladies are paid by tailor-made service.
Yes, I see.
And we take care of their Social Security, their unemployment insurance, all the rest of the government bookkeeping. And you pay us $3 an hour for cleaning service.
But you take care of all the...
We take care of everything.
Show business is getting very slow. I might be overdue.
Only if
Don't be
references.
silly. Do references count?
Of course they do.
When they come to you, they give you... How do you know that now you're going to send me somebody for $3 an hour. Now, I expect... How do you check them out till they're good? It's going right back to the same thing. She's going to tell you I'm good. She's not going to say to you I'm a slob.
Yes, but you have this gentleman's
But how does he know? Yes, how does Mr. Taylor know?
I see.
We will not employ anyone unless they can show us 2 years of work in the kind of homes that we are going to send them to, which creates such a grave shortage these days. There are so many people who come from the islands now, completely unqualified.
Yeah, but cheap, which is very sad what they're doing now. I want to talk to you about this.
Yes.
We'll be back after a break to find out more from Nancy Walker and Mr. Taylor. We're going to go in the audience and we're going to get questions on maids for Mr. Taylor or for Nancy Walker. First of all, how many women here in general have a maid come in at all? That's less than I thought. How many of you work out of the ones I put up? You work in general, and then you don't have a maid. Are you single? Are you married? Oh, and you work? And what? Dummy. Once you're married, you don't work, or else you have a maid come in. Oh, we'll have to talk after the show. Now, who's got a regular question for a real, and the same single girl, same married girl who's, all right.
What should you do when a maid starts to get too many phone calls?
What should you do when a maid starts to get too many phone calls, Mr. Taylor?
Tell her she's getting too many phone calls.
Or if she's a good maid, get her own phone. You know,
Tell her that you were expecting so many important business calls of your own. You find that that she's intruding, and you wouldn't want to intrude on any of her calls. And tell her she's not being minding her manners. But tell her she's making too many phone calls. She'll know.
All right. Yes. Hands. Yes.
What's the first thing a maid does on a new job?
What is the first thing a maid does on a new job?
Probably break the washer and dryer, I would guess.
What should a maid do first thing, Mr. Taylor?
Change her clothes.
All right. Who buys the uniforms?
the employer should buy the uniforms if the employer wants special uniforms. Generally, the maid will come with comfortable, clean house dress and comfortable shoes. But if a special uniform is required, it's the duty of the employer to
Like
supply.
Eggie wants him to be dressed like a bunny, so we have to supply that.
She supplies the other things, and you supply the uniform.
The little tail and the little ears. Next, yes.
Should one always have references when hiring a maid?
Oh, yes.
For the maid or from the maid? We're very nice people here, references, you know.
There should be an exchange of references. Sometimes there is such an exchange. My last person was here for 18 years or something like that. Well, why did she quit? Well, she was tired of the job.
Yeah.
But you should have references. You must know who is in your home. I'm thinking in terms of the person who is perhaps a full-time housekeeper.
Could a woman have a bad reference, like the husband makes a pass? This can happen, you know. And then the wife gets upset and would give her a bad reference. Did you ever think about things like that?
Quite often. Sometimes the person who is going to work for you will say, I would like to give you my previous employer, but we had a fight. And she's not going to say nice things about me.
If a maid looks that good, why is she a maid?
Yeah, well, you never know what the husband looks like. Sometimes the husband goes for anything. It walks, why not? Give it a pinch, you know. That's one more question. Anybody else? Yes.
To Nancy, when should a maid's work be checked?
When she's not looking, hopefully.
I want to thank you both. All I can say is it's a pleasure to have you on, Mrs. Taylor. I want to talk to you after the show. And it's tailor-made service. They're very good. I use them. And Nancy Walker, please come back. You're just wonderful.
Thank you, darling.
And good luck with the play, The Cocktail Party.
Thank you.
That's lovely. Bye-bye.
If you'd like to see the show when you're in New York, write Joan Rivers Tickets, Box 850, Radio City Station, New York, 10019. Miss Rivers' guests stay at the Hotel Commodore while in New York.